Welcome back to More Cake Yes Mom Badass at Art. I'm your girl Jalena, and today I'm going to show you how I made this geometric shaped heart because Valentines is tomorrow. I am putting out 2 tutorials this week. I know, look at me, just getting it done. Just getting it done. Don't expect that from me next week though. I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. But I really thought about this maybe on Monday, and I really wanted to do this just for fun, for no particular reason. So I thought, hey, why not film it and show you guys how I did it? And I think it's perfect for like a Valentine's gift, or even like doing Valentine's Day specials, selling them for your business. And they're really simple to make. Obviously you don't have to make them this big. You can get smaller chocolate molds, but I linked the mold that I used down below. So the chocolate I'm using is just some Nestle. Nothing super special or extra. I mean, Nestle is special, but I'm not like going above and beyond and using like Ghirardelli. Like, that's expensive, okay? And if you're selling these for specials for Valentine's Day, make sure you're selling them at a good price, because that's an expensive chocolate. I had a whole bunch of Nestle chocolate in my storage, so I went ahead and used that. This mold, just to give you a little tidbit, you can bake in it. That's why it has like these brown little marks in it. I've baked in it. You can put it in the oven and you can use it for chocolate. So just know that it's good for 2 things. I melted my chocolate at 30-second intervals, and once I took it out, I went ahead and put 2 capfuls of vegetable oil in the chocolate and stirred it up. I did 1 cap at a time though, but I stirred it up. 30-second intervals, no more than maybe like a minute or a minute and a half, only because it really just depends on your microwave, but my microwave gets hot really quickly, so I just needed probably about a minute. And I stirred it up. I wanted to make sure all the lumps were gone. You don't want any lumps. You want it nice and smooth, nice and clean. And then using vegetable oil will help your chocolate get shiny. Also will help it get a little more runny, because if it's too thick, it won't even out nicely and it'll look a little lumpy, and I didn't want that. I set that off to the side for a little bit, and I grabbed a piece of parchment paper and I grabbed my mold and I traced my mold on the parchment paper with a pencil, and then I went back with a marker so that way you guys can see it on the camera. And so that way when I go to close my heart, that sounds so horrible, but when I go to close my heart, I have a piece that I can trace with chocolate. I'll show you guys. Let's just keep going because that sounded a little confusing. I lined a sheet pan with some parchment paper and I put my mold on top of it, and then I poured in the chocolate. Now, as I was doing this, I thought, oh, I have to flip this around so the chocolate can kind of come down. And I didn't want to flip it around and just sit it on the parchment paper, because then it would have been like this bulky stuff inside the mold and probably would have messed it up. So I needed like a rack, and current rack that I use when I normally need to like cool down cakes or something, it was being used, and all I had available was the rack from my fridge. So I yanked that bad boy out. I gave it a nice little wipe down real quick, and then I put it over the sheet pan, and then I flipped my mold on top of it. I don't need your judgment, okay? That's all I had available at the time, all right? So thank you to my fridge, who was there for me when I needed somebody. I let the chocolate drip down for a good maybe 2 to 3 minutes or so. I picked it back up and I checked around my mold, and I noticed like there was some spots that the chocolate hadn't touched. So I just filled that in with some chocolate and tried to even it out as best as I can. Flipped it up upside down again to let it run for a little bit, and then I stuck it in the freezer so it can chill. Quick, hard, nice, smooth, perfection. I left it in the freezer, and then I started on the back of my heart, and that's where that parchment paper where we traced our heart comes in play. So I grabbed my squeezy bottle and I attempted to follow the lines as best I could. Didn't do a very good job, but I attempted to follow the lines as best I could, and then I just filled it in with the leftover chocolate that ran out of the heart. So that's on the parchment paper, so I just poured that down in there, and then I smoothed it out. And obviously when I'm smoothing out, my chocolate is spreading even more. So I wanted to be careful because I didn't want it to be thin. I needed the back to be thick, because if it was too thin it would break when I wanted to handle it. Also, we're gonna eventually have to cut this into the right shape later, and I don't want the cuts to make the rest of the heart crack. Once I had that to the shape I needed it to be, I stuck that in the freezer to chill also. And by that time, my heart, geometric heart, was just about chilled. So all I had to do was wait maybe 10 more minutes or so. But eventually I took it out, and I thought, well, how am I gonna take this out without cracking my heart? So yeah, I didn't give this a lot of thought. I just wanted to make it. I didn't plan it. There was no sketch. It was just fly by the seat of my pants. DIY type style, you know? So I took it out and I grabbed a butter knife, and then I kind of like scowled I don't know if that's the right word, but I went into it and wedged it in between so I could at least get the silicone away and kind of loosen the silicone off of the chocolate. And once I did that, I was comfortable enough to flip it upside down. With my man's help, he came and helped me flip the silicone off and kind of pull the chocolate heart out, and it came out perfect. I mean, there was one little side that kind of cracked a little bit, but it didn't matter. It didn't like come off, it was still attached, and I can always add some chocolate on it to like glue it back together, and it just looked so good, y'all. So once my man helped me pull it out of the silicone and it was looking so pretty, I set it back in the freezer to chill, and I was able to get the back of the heart out and start trimming that down to the size and shape that I needed it to be. I just used a knife. I didn't heat the knife or anything. I was able to cut the side nice and crisp. So I cut down the back of it to the shape and sizes that I needed. Very like one side at a time, taking my time, trying not to go overboard. And then I went and grabbed my heart out just to see if it was the same size as the back, and it wasn't. It was not the same size, but that's okay. So I was like, okay, that's fine. We're just gonna leave it like that for now. I got a plan for this at the end. I took my geometric chocolate heart and I put it back in the mold, flipped the mold right side up. I don't know, I just flipped it up so I could fill it in. And I wanted to fill it in with like a cute little note, so I wrote this note out. And then I also filled it in with like chocolate and stuff like that. But yeah, can't just go watch it. Just go ahead. I'm just gonna let this time lapse play so that way you guys can see how I filled it in. Now once I filled in my heart with all the like cuteness and goodies, I went ahead and grabbed the back again, and I used some melted chocolate around the edges so it can be like the glue, the adhesive that keeps these two pieces together. I flipped it upside down, I put it on top of my art, and then I took my art and flipped that back right side up. And as you can see, there's some overage from the back, but that's okay because all I did was I went ahead and took my knife and I cut crisp lines so it all matched up. And then to seal it all together, I went back with some more melted chocolate and sealed the edges of it nice and smooth, just using my finger, run through across to kind of smooth it out even better. And then I put it on a cake board, and it was looking pretty already with its chocolateness and its brown goodness, but I wanted it to like pop a little bit more, so I used this rose gold bronze. It's really like rose bronze, not gold, and it's more like copperish rose bronze. It's probably not even rose, but I like saying it. It was really pretty. It was Rokum, and I'll link that below too of where I got that Rokum dust. And I painted that with a sponge brush, and it was, I mean, yeah, it was so cute. It was so cute. So yeah, and then I just popped it open as a surprise. Went through that hour worth of work just to like knock it all out of there. It was really, really cute. I thought, perfect. Here, I'll show you the boomerang. You see how cute that was? It just popped. Surprise! Anyways, but that's it for today's video. I hope you guys have a wonderful Valentine's weekend. Be safe, don't make dumb decisions, be smart about it, and have a good time with the people you love and you care about. Drop some hearts in the comments below so I know you love me, because I need that in my life. I need people to tell me that they love me so I can feel better about myself. Thanks. I don't really, but I would like it. Yeah. All right. Bye.